Welcome back to the Sports Hour here on Flow FM. Time to switch the focus onto basketball. And joining us is our basketball expert, Dan Crouch is on the line. Dan, great to have you on again. How you doing?
Likewise, Ellis. Great to be here. I'm doing well, my friend. Hope you're well also.
I am, Dan, but a little sad as a Knicks fan to hear the news today. This has just come out in the last couple of hours that the NBA Hall of Fame legend Willis Reed, who was actually a part of the New York Knicks' last title win, which of course is my team, has unfortunately passed away today. So what legacy does he leave, Dan?
He leaves an immense legacy, Ellis. He probably goes down as the greatest New York Knick ever. As you said, he won 2 championships with the Knicks in 1970 and 1973, which is just a remarkable achievement because they're the only championships the Knicks have won. Won the Finals MVP in both of those championships. Was also the league MVP in 1970, part of the 75th anniversary team, all-defensive player, all-star game MVP, 5-time All-NBA, 7-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, like just an unbelievable resume. I believe his career high was 53 points, which is just incredible, especially for the era he was playing in. And yeah, one of the absolute best players from the 1970s. But the casual the casual NBA fan from today probably wouldn't know much about him. But yeah, in the 60s and 70s, he was absolutely one of the dominant forces.
What was the landscape like back in the 70s in the NBA, Dan, in regards to stardom, player stardom? Were they, as big as stars then as they are today?
Not even remotely close. There was not anywhere near as much money in the league. There was still horrible racial prejudices, talking about black players just subject to severe racism from their own team and from fans and all sorts of things. Just the main one being just nowhere near as much money in it, nowhere near as much sponsorship, TV deals, all that. It really rose with Michael Jordan in the 80s, obviously him being the star player that he was, but yeah, back in the 70s, it was a completely different landscape. But Willis Reed playing in New York probably had one of the biggest markets and one of the biggest platforms out there. So even with the league not being what it is today, make no mistake, he was one of the absolute superstars of the entire league.
You've spoken really well there, Dan. Well, let's move along and talk some other general news. And this relates to Andrew Wiggins. And his partners come out and condemned internet rumours. But, Dan, I guess what's really important to note here is that when a player does go MIA in today's world, it does create that social media vacuum for conspiracies. So tell us more about the Golden State Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins and why he might be absent right now.
Yeah, so just a little background. Wiggins is, of course, the starting small forward for the Golden State Warriors. One of their key cogs. Obviously, they're the defending champs, and they want to be close to full strength or as close as possible to try and defend their title. And Wiggins last played on the 13th of February, so he's been out for a long time. And yeah, when someone's out with personal issues, often it lasts a couple of games, maybe stretches to 4 or 5 games. You see players lose a parent or lose a loved one, and they take a bit of time off. So, usually it only lasts a few games. So to see Wiggins missing this many games, I mean, we're up to well over a month now since he's played, and we've really heard nothing other than rumours about the incident. Of course, that's what his partner's lashing out at. The rumours, which, quite frankly, if they're not true, they're sickening things to hear. They sound absolutely horrible. I won't repeat them on air. But yeah, hopefully he's getting the help he needs and the support that he needs, and he's back on the court soon. But yeah, for a player of his caliber, playing on a team of Golden State's caliber, to be missing for this long and to keep it under wraps for this long as well, without any leaks of what's actually going on beyond this rumour, it's pretty remarkable. It's pretty unique, and hopefully we're wishing all the best for Andrew Wiggins and for his family. But we'll just have to wait and see when he's back on the court. But yeah, definitely nothing certain at this point.
Now, when it comes to high-profile players and people close to them coming out and vehemently denying internet rumours, Does that generally tend to indicate that there's some sort of sincerity about, people wanting to reassure the masses that, whatever is being alleged is indeed not what's actually happening? Or is it the reversal, Dan, where, there's no smoke without fire? Because I dare say a lot of the time there is.
Oh, look, I do think to an extent where there's smoke, there's fire. I think that time and time again, especially in NBA rumours, has proven to be true. But I think that generally sticks to the on-court rumours. Trade rumours, free agency rumours. Often they don't come out of nowhere. But when it's this off-court stuff, when it's drama, when it's, potentially grief, often there's always people on Twitter who are trying to break a story that doesn't exist, especially with Elon Musk's version of Twitter where anyone can buy a blue check mark and be a verified account. It's so easy for fake news to circulate. So I do think where there's smoke, there's fire, but I think in this case, being an off-court rumour, I think anyone could have made up a rumour and had it spread. So, I'm not buying too much into it, and I'll wait to hear something from a reputable source about what's going on. But, in the meantime, just hoping for the best for Andrew Wiggins and his family.
Yeah, well, Andrew Wiggins' partner, Michael Johnson, has said the internet is really a sick place. So she's not mincing her words there, Dan. Now, just speaking about Andrew Wiggins, his side, Golden State Warriors, they are in action tomorrow. They'll be playing the Dallas Mavericks. So do you fear that this might steal the limelight in regards to what actually ends up happening on the court tomorrow, Dan?
No, I don't think it'll steal the limelight. Golden State are an unbelievable organisation, and their PR team is sensational. I think they'll manage to keep the headlines to the on-court stuff pretty easily. The problem for Golden State is they're playing on the road where they've been absolutely atrocious. For the season, their home record is 29-7 at home, and when they play on the road, they're 8 wins and 29 losses. So playing on the road tomorrow against Dallas, it's looking pretty bleak for them. They've really struggled, and with Andrew Wiggins still out of the lineup, like I said, a key part of that team. You'd expect them to struggle again, but you're not going to rule them out of the championship race with the runs that their star players have on the board. But I think Dallas are looking in pretty good nick for that one.
Another game that has your full focus, Dan, is Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Phoenix Suns at the Crypto.com Arena. So what are the main sort of points to focus in on with regards to this game happening tomorrow, Dan?
Well, we know we've been talking about it for a couple of weeks. The Lakers need to win pretty much every game to make the playoffs or to make the play-in to even have a shot at the playoffs. They've had LeBron James on the sidelines. They've had Anthony Davis out for half the season. And right now they're sitting one loss behind Utah to that 10th spot and that final spot in the play-in. So with time dwindling, not too many games left. I think they've only got 10 games left, the Lakers. An upset win against Phoenix is one they really need. Phoenix, we know they're not at full strength with Kevin Durant out. The games in Los Angeles, it's really all set up as a must-win for the Lakers. And if they can manage to win, you put LeBron James and Kevin Durant back in come playoffs, two of the best players in the world. Suddenly you're looking at potentially those two teams playing in a crucial playoff series, maybe in the second round. So, long way to go to get there yet, but I'll definitely have my eye on that game tomorrow.
I'm sure you will. Now, let's take a look at some of the races with regards to all the categories people are most intrigued by as we enter the final stretch of games in the NBA. So it is crunch time. We've spoken about the MVP race already. Now, Dan, when it comes to the MVP race, you were pretty hot on Luka Jokic last week when we spoke to you, but it appears that he may well have lost that favouritism now, at least as far as the bookies are concerned.
Jokic has slipped from his favouritism. He's been the favourite all year, but given that he's going for his third straight and doesn't quite have the resume in terms of championships and deep playoff runs to back that up, I think a few people have been looking for reasons to give it to someone else. So he's been the favourite all year, but his last 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks, have been a little bit subpar. Denver dropped a couple of games they shouldn't have lost, and Joel Embiid and Philly have been sensational. So he's rocketed into a pretty firm favourite to win that award now. And I think with just 10 games left, I think he's going to hold on. And after coming runner-up 2, maybe even 3 years in a row, it'll be good to see him finally take home the MVP. I'm sure he'll be happy about that. But, we'll see how it finishes. Giannis Antetokounmpo still firmly in the race as well. But, time running out and Embiid a strong favourite now.
Who looks the most promising to take out the most improved this season, Dan?
Yeah, it's a 2-horse race between Lauri Markkanen from Utah and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from OKC. Both taken unbelievable leaps this year. Markkanen was probably a bit of an afterthought after being a high draft pick, showing flashes early, but then really tapering off for a few years. Bounced from Chicago to Cleveland, and then was part of that massive trade for Donovan Mitchell with Utah and Cleveland. So he's absolutely thrived this year in Utah, and he's a strong favourite to win that award now. And I think that would be the right decision. But Gilgeous-Alexander has taken the leap from a star player to a genuine superstar, top 10 player in the league, carrying a pretty average OKC roster to nearly to a playoff appearance. I think they're going to at least make the play-in now. Remarkable effort by him, and he's a superstar, so there'd be no issue with him winning it either.
And who do you like for Rookie of the Year, Dan?
Rookie of the Year, Paolo Banchero, pretty much wrapped up the award within the first month of the season. Just played some absolutely dominant basketball, looks like a superstar already in his first 10 to 15 games. He's an unbackable favourite at this point, but I do think there should be a bit more consideration for Jalen Williams from the Thunder. He's been just as good in the last couple of weeks, last 3 or 4 weeks probably, as Paolo was at the start of the season. And quite frankly, in the middle there's probably some stretches where Paolo Banchero struggled just as much as Jalen Williams did early in the season. So I think there's a little bit of early season favouritism going towards Banchero there. I still think he should be the favourite, but I definitely don't think he should be the unbackable favourite that he is. So it'll be interesting to see how the voters go there. And Walker Kessler's another one. He's come in and just become one of the best shot blockers in the league, best rebounders in the league in his rookie season, which is an extremely impressive effort. I think he'll get a few votes as well, but we'll see how that one plays out.
All right, well, Dan Crouch, before we let you go, let's just take a look at the standings right now in the East and West. So bring us up to speed. How do things look?
Yeah, so Milwaukee's still holding on firm in number 1 in the East, a decent way ahead of Boston in 2. Boston narrowly ahead of Philly in 3, and then we've got a bit of a gap before Cleveland and New York, the other dark horse contenders in the East there. And then looking at playoff positioning, Chicago holding on to that last spot in the play-in, 2 games ahead of Washington. So I think the play-in's just about set there, barring something pretty special from Washington in these last couple of weeks. And then looking over to the West, Denver, despite a bit of a slump, still holding on to that number 1 seed. Memphis, we know they had a bit of a slump as well with the Ja Morant drama. He'll be back soon, but they're sitting in number 2, 1 game ahead of Sacramento in 3. And then Phoenix, who are probably the team to beat since the Kevin Durant trade, sitting in 4. Clippers and Warriors 5th and 6th. So that's the guaranteed playoff spots there. Dallas can jump Golden State with a win tomorrow. And then, like I said, the Lakers half a game out of that play-in spot, so desperately needing that win against Phoenix to get in there. But, still just 3 games in between 5th and 11th. So, guaranteed playoff spot or completely missing the play-in altogether. All those teams in that range could go either way. So it's going to be a thrilling last couple of weeks as we finalise those seedings.
Dan Crouch, our basketball expert, a very busy agenda and some fantastic work from you. Thank you very much indeed for appearing on the show. We'll do it all again in a week's time. Enjoy the basketball.
Thanks, Alice. Looking forward to next time.